Welcome back to a brand new Clash Royale video, guys. My name is Chief Pat, and today we're going to be making a push for that #1 spot, seeing as we just hit 4,000 trophies, and we're only 15 trophies away from taking that spot for ourselves. So let's go ahead and try it out, get into a battle, and see if we can claim it for the first time this season. I've been #1 most of the seasons for at least a couple of days, and let's go ahead and see if we can grab it. I think this is day number 3 of this fresh season, and getting matched up with someone, we're going to get matched up with Thorburn of HK Esports, and he only has 3,839 trophies, so I'm not sure if this is going to be enough to give us that #1 spot if we win. If we lose, it's like -45, so we definitely don't want to do that. And let's go ahead and start off with some Spear Goblins up front. I actually had the worst possible starting hand with this deck, having both of the Goblins and both of the spells. There's really nothing I can do, but instead, he actually drops his Barbarian Hut, and as soon as I saw that, I was so excited because this deck does insanely well against spawners. I have the Poison spell, which obviously dominates both of those buildings. I can hit the tower and both of the huts at the same time, as well as I have my 3 Musketeers, which will tear through all of those. Looks like I'm going to drop some Goblins to follow up, and as I make my way through, he's actually going to drop some Barbarians, and those will do a decent job taking care of some of my troops. They actually take out the 3 Musketeers, but none of them make their way down the lane, so honestly, that really wasn't too bad. I had my worst possible starting hand, and I didn't take any damage to my tower, maybe except for a couple of Spear Goblin pokes right here, but now we can reset. We can play our Cannon to stop this Hog Rider. We can play our Valkyrie as well, and eventually, I'm pretty confident we're going to get the push that we need to make a big dent down the lane, and let's actually make a tiny little push right here. I'll play the Valkyrie. The Spear Goblins are going in. He's going to play his Ice Wizard. I decided to freeze both the Ice Wizard as well as the tower. I'm not really too worried about the Spear Goblin Hut. He does have the Musketeer though, so instead I'm actually going to finally drop my Poison spell, which should take care of the Spear Goblins. It should dominate the Musketeer, maybe kill her. It actually looks like it's going to get enough damage off to take her out as well. And yeah, his tower's already been chunked down to about 60%, so things look pretty good so far, and I still haven't had my optimal cards yet to really go for that all-out push. What I want to do is I want to get my Giant Skeleton, I want to get my Valkyrie, my 3 Musketeers, and then drop something like a Poison spell or a Freeze spell, depending on what he plays. Maybe freeze the Barbarians as soon as he drops them on me. But let's go ahead and start a push right now. We've got the Giant Skeleton on the right. Again, it's going to just save up time. Just look at it. It's standing right there, soaking damage from the Barbarians, really not taking that much. And that gives me another 2 seconds to wait for my Elixir. And as he drops those arrows, those seem a little bit desperate. We can follow up with that Valkyrie. And look at this push. We have the Giant Skeleton, the 3 Musketeers, the Valkyrie, and the Spear Goblins. That's a total of 20 Elixir on the field right there. There's almost nothing he can do to stop it. Of course, he did chunk them a decent amount, but still, I have so many troops left. 2 Musketeers, 2 Spear Goblins, a Valkyrie. This one is pretty much over because this deck is just insane against spawners. It works really well, especially if you don't get overrun. Of course, if you make enough mistakes, then there's not a lot of ways you can counter them once they start getting it going, but as he plays the Desperate Hog Goblin, that's not going to work out too well as well. And yeah, 13 seconds left in this battle, and now it's just waiting on how many trophies we're actually going to get to see if we have enough to take the #1 spot. Alright, so he's not playing anything. Let's go ahead and freeze and poison our tower. 1 second, 0 seconds. The countdown is over. And yeah, pretty simple 1 crown to 0 victory. Really no stress right there. 16 trophies. We actually just got enough to hit the #1 spot in the world. So that is where we are at 4,017 trophies. And we've reclaimed the throne, #1 in the game. Yeah, 4,017 trophies it is. So we'll try to keep on to this as much as we can. I'm actually going out for dinner, so I'm sure by the time I get back from dinner that this is going to be gone. But at least it's there to video. I'm going to keep pushing. It's always good to just keep my ranking up rather than try to push towards the end of the season, which gets a little bit hectic. So I'm going to try to stay close to the top as long as I can. Of course, the leaderboards are still exploding right now with the season reset, so things have been a little bit crazy. But let's go ahead and hop into one more battle using this deck that I had on my climb, and let's see if we can actually knock this guy out. Look inside of his deck, though. He has the Giant Skeleton as well, so this is going to be pretty funny to see how he plays this one out. Of course, he has the Lightning spell as well, so if he ends up using it on my 3 Musketeers, that could be a little bit deadly. But take a look as he goes with the Giant Skeleton Spear Goblin push. And I actually don't have a great counter. I already dropped my Valkyrie, and his princess is already locked onto the tower. That's a little bit disappointing. And now I just have to worry about my Valkyrie in the right-hand lane. So I'm going to drop a free spell to stop that cannon and tower damage, as well as follow up with some spear goblins. Let's see how much damage we can get done with just those spear goblins, which are starting to do work against that right-hand tower. Okay, so they ended up doing about 1,000 damage, not too shabby, as well as my giant skeleton. Really didn't do too much. He was sort of just a tank on the other side. Valkyrie will kill all of these guys in one fell swoop, and now it's just time to see what he plays. He does have the giant skeleton, which just came up, and look, as he drops it, the Valkyrie goes next to the tower, so the Valkyrie is hitting both the tower and the giant skeleton, which is insane, and we got so much value out of that Valkyrie. His giant skeleton did almost nothing, and we took another 1,000 damage from that tower, and now it only sits at 953 health going into the rest of the battle. I can use 3 poison spells to kill it if I really want to. Sort of just depends on what this guy used. And as I drop my 3 Musketeers, this is where he's going to bring out the lightning spell. He hadn't played it just yet, so I really didn't expect it. And seeing as I'm low on elixir, I don't really have anything to back up this Musketeer with, so I'm sort of just going to leave it by itself. Thinking about poisoning that princess might not be a bad idea, especially because he just dropped his spear goblins. I thought that I might be able to kill it with my Musketeer, but he played a little bit of defense. Again, 2 more poison spells to kill that tower on the right-hand side, so really not too worried. And all the pressure is on him to get a good push down the lane, or this one's going to be over by the time that minute expires. Okay, so heading into double overtime, we're even on elixir. Giant skeleton's going to go down. Cannon's going to go down as well. We've been stopping this Hog Rider Goblin push pretty effectively. Honestly, I've seen people use this a lot, and it really doesn't work too well. I really am scared of the Hog Rider minion push. I feel like that's much more effective when people use that against me. Free spell's going to go down right as he drops that princess. That was absolutely devastating. Valkyrie's going to head over there as well, and we're getting some good damage to both towers now, so we really don't have to be worried even if he takes one of ours. Look at the left-hand side. It's down to 800, 700, 573 HP. We sort of have a choice of what we want to do, and things are really good. Whenever you have choices in Clash Royale about what tower you want to attack, you're definitely in the lead. And let's throw a quick Spear Goblin to go ahead and go down the lane and actually take it down to 372. Poison spell is going to help out on that princess, as well as take the tower to only a few hit points. And with the giant skeleton on the left, we can just counter his hog push on the right with the same exact combo. Really wasn't able to push our towers this game, as our Valkyrie should be able to clean up that Hog Rider, and with only the spear goblins and goblins needed to sort of cycle through our deck, Poison spell is going to go down, giving us the victory and another pretty clean W. This deck is pretty effective against a lot of things. I feel like one of his first giant skeletons sort of set him up for failure later, and we were able to capitalize off that. But yeah, #1 spot is ours. Make sure you guys check out the leaderboards. By the time I post this video, I might not be there anymore, and I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. But for now, we are there, and yeah, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smack a like with your forehead against the keyboard. Show me some love. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace!